The morning light crept quietly through the thin curtains, casting soft lines across the small apartment. The place was modest, clean but worn, every piece of furniture chosen for function rather than beauty. A second-hand couch, a small dining table pushed against the wall, toys carefully stacked in a corner. Ava woke before her alarm, the way she usually did. For a brief moment, she forgot where she was. Then reality settled in. Single mother. One-bedroom apartment. Another long day ahead. She sat up slowly, careful not to wake her son sleeping beside her. His breathing was steady, peaceful. That sound alone made everything else worth it. Ava slid out of bed and froze. The smell. Warm. Familiar. Impossible. Breakfast. Not instant coffee. Not reheated leftovers. Real breakfast. Eggs, toast, something rich and comforting drifting through the air. Her heart skipped. She stood still, listening. Soft movements. The faint clink of a pan. Someone humming. Low, almost distracted. Her first thought was fear. Her second was confusion. No one was supposed to be there. She reached for her phone on the nightstand, fingers tight around it, and moved quietly toward the door. Each step felt louder than the last. The apartment was small. There was nowhere for anyone to hide. As she reached the edge of the hallway, she looked into the kitchen. And her breath caught. A man stood at the stove, sleeves rolled up, hair slightly messy, completely at ease in a space that was not his. He flipped an omelet with practiced confidence, as if he belonged there. He turned slightly, noticing her reflection in the microwave door. "Oh, good morning," he said calmly. Ava couldn't speak. She knew that face. Everyone did. He was on billboards, business magazines. Interviews streamed across her phone whenever she scrolled too long at night. The CEO. The one whose name people whispered with awe. The man who ran a company worth more than she could imagine. Standing in her kitchen, making breakfast. "I hope eggs are okay," he added, glancing over his shoulder. "I didn't want to wake either of you." Her legs felt weak. What are you doing here?" she finally managed. He turned off the stove, wiped his hands on a towel, and faced her fully. His expression wasn't arrogant. It wasn't amused. It was careful. "I needed to talk to you," he said. "But I figured it would be better if I started with breakfast." Ava crossed her arms instinctively, every protective instinct screaming. "You shouldn't be here. This isn't." "I know," he interrupted gently. "And I'm sorry. I didn't mean to scare you." She stared at him, trying to piece together the last 24 hours. She remembered the charity gala she'd been cleaning at, another overnight shift. She remembered him arriving late, soaked from the rain, his suit torn at the shoulder. She remembered fixing it quietly, refusing payment because his wallet was missing. She remembered him thanking her. That was it. That was supposed to be the end of the story. Yet here he was. "You followed me?" she asked, her voice sharp now. He shook his head immediately. "No, I asked. You gave the address." She frowned, then remembered, exhausted, distracted, barely holding it together, scribbling it down when he asked where he could send payment later. Payment. Her stomach tightened. "I don't want anything," she said quickly. "I told you that." "I know," he replied. "That's why I'm here." That answer didn't make sense. He gestured toward the small table. "Please, sit. If you still want me to leave after we talk, I will." Immediately, she hesitated, then glanced back at her son, still asleep. Slowly, she sat. He placed a plate in front of her. Perfectly cooked eggs, toast, buttered just right. A glass of orange juice. Simple, thoughtful. "I looked up the nearest store," he said quietly. "Didn't want to use anything you might need later." Her throat tightened despite herself. "You don't do this," she said. "Men like you don't just show up." He met her eyes then. "That's because most people think they know who I am," he said. "They don't." She didn't respond. He took a breath. "Yesterday," he continued, "you fixed my suit without asking who I was. You didn't ask for money. You didn't even ask my name." "So?" she asked. "So," he said softly, "that hasn't happened to me in 20 years." The room felt smaller suddenly. More fragile. Ava looked down at the plate, then back up at him. "Why are you really here?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he said the one thing she wasn't ready to hear. "Because I need your help," he said. "And because what I found out last night changes everything." She froze. Ava woke up slowly, not because she wanted to, but because something felt wrong. Too quiet. No clatter from the neighbors upstairs. No sirens in the distance. No hum of traffic sneaking through the cracked window. Just a stillness that pressed against her chest. She sat up instantly. Her first instinct was her son. She rushed to the bedroom door and pushed it open. He was there, safe, curled up under the blanket, breathing softly, his small fingers wrapped around the corner of his pillow. Relief flooded her so hard her knees nearly gave out. Then she smelled it. Coffee. Fresh, strong, real. Her heart skipped. Ava froze. She lived alone. Always had. No guests. No surprises. Slowly, silently, she stepped toward the kitchen. And that's when she saw him. The man from yesterday, standing at her stove, wearing a clean white shirt with the sleeves rolled up, his expensive jacket folded neatly on the chair. He was cracking eggs into a pan like he belonged there, like this wasn't the most alarming thing that could possibly be happening. Ava's breath caught. You, her voice came out sharp. What are you doing in my house? He turned immediately, hands up, calm but alert. I didn't want to wake you, he said. The door was unlocked. I knocked. That doesn't mean you walk in, she snapped. You're right, he said without arguing. I'm sorry. That stopped her. Men like him didn't apologize easily. Especially not to women like her. She tightened her robe around herself. You need to leave. He nodded. I will. Right after I explain. She laughed once, dry, humorless. Explain why a stranger is cooking breakfast in my kitchen. Yes, he said simply. Ava crossed her arms, staying near the doorway where she could still see her son's room. 2 minutes, she said. Then you're gone. He accepted the condition immediately. I'm not here as a CEO, he began. Or as a customer. Then why are you here? She demanded. He glanced at the counter, at the old sewing kit she kept beside the sink. The same one her mother had used. Because yesterday, he said, when you fixed my suit for free, you did it the same way someone once did for me. Ava stiffened. I don't know you, she said. No, he agreed, but I know that stitch. She stared at him. That's impossible, she said quietly. It's just a stitch. He shook his head. It's not. He turned off the stove, the eggs forgotten. 20 years ago, he said, I walked into a tailor shop with a torn suit and no money. I was desperate, scared, invisible. Ava felt her throat tighten, though she didn't know why. The woman who owned that shop fixed it without asking questions, he continued. She told me something I've never forgotten. Ava's voice dropped. What? You look like someone who's about to give up, he said. Don't. Her heart began to pound. She told me, he added, if the world ignores you today, come back tomorrow louder, but kinder. Ava swallowed hard. Those words. Her mother had said them 1,000 times. You're lying, Ava said, though her voice wavered. I wish I were, he replied. Because it took me 20 years to realize what that kindness cost her. Ava's hands trembled. My mother owned a tailor shop, she said slowly. It closed. I know, he said. She looked at him sharply. How? He didn't answer right away. Instead, he reached into his pocket and placed something on the table. An old button. Cracked. Familiar. Ava's breath left her lungs. That button, she whispered. We used those when we couldn't afford new ones. I've kept it, he said. As a reminder of who helped me when I had nothing. Silence crashed between them. From the bedroom came a small cough. Ava turned instantly. Her son stirred again. She stepped back, protective instinct roaring to life. You should go, she said, her voice shaking, not with fear, but with something deeper. Now, he nodded, respecting the boundary. I will, he said. But I need you to know, I didn't come to take anything. She met his eyes. Then why did you come? She asked. He paused at the door. To give something back, he said quietly. Then he left. The door clicked shut. Ava stood frozen in her kitchen, staring at the forgotten breakfast, the cracked button on the table, and the feeling that her past had just knocked, and refused to stay buried. The room was quiet in a way Ava wasn't used to. Not the silence of being alone, but the kind that comes when something important is about to be said. Her son stirred slightly in the bedroom, then settled again. That small sound grounded her. Whatever this man wanted, her child came first. Always. The CEO sat across from her now, no longer standing tall like the man from magazine covers. His shoulders were tense, his hands clasped together as if he were holding something fragile. You said you needed my help, Ava said carefully. Say it clearly. He nodded. Fair. He reached into his jacket, slowly, deliberately, and placed a thin folder on the table. No logos. No dramatic flair. Inside were photos. Old ones. Ava leaned forward despite herself. The first photo showed a woman standing in front of a small tailoring shop. The sign was faded. The windows cracked. Her breath caught. That shop, Ava whispered. That's my mother's. He watched her closely. It was. Her pulse thundered in her ears. My mother closed that shop years ago, she said. After she got sick. I know, he replied quietly. Ava's hands curled into fists. Then why do you have this? He took a breath. Because that shop saved my life. She looked up sharply. He continued, his voice steady but weighted. 23 years ago, my family was nothing. No money, no connections. My father lost his job. We were days from losing everything. He slid another photo forward. A much younger version of himself. Thin, nervous, standing beside a woman Ava recognized instantly, strong eyes, familiar posture. My suit was torn the day of a scholarship interview, he said. I was a nobody, no backup, no second chance. Ava swallowed. She fixed it, he said. For free. Fed me lunch. Told me to stand straight and not apologize for existing. Her chest tightened painfully. She said, he added, you don't owe the world anything, but you owe yourself effort. Ava closed her eyes. That sounded exactly like her mother. She refused payment, he went on. Told me to come back when I succeeded. He smiled faintly. I didn't know how. Ava's voice trembled. Why now? Because last night, he said, when you fixed my suit the same way, same stitches, same refusal, I finally understood. He opened the last page of the folder. Legal documents. I found the old property records, he said. That shop was taken unlawfully during redevelopment. Your mother never fought it. She was sick, tired. Ava stared at the papers, struggling to breathe. I want to return it, he said. The shop, the equipment, everything, in your name. Her chair scraped loudly as she stood. No, she said immediately. I don't want charity. He stood too, but didn't step closer. This isn't charity, he said firmly. This is a debt, one I've carried for decades. Ava shook her head, tears threatening. You don't just rewrite people's lives like this. He paused. Neither did your mother, he said. Yet she rewrote mine. Silence fell again. Heavy, honest. From the bedroom came a small voice. Mama. Ava turned instantly. Her son stood in the doorway, rubbing his eyes. She scooped him up without hesitation, holding him close. The CEO watched, something unreadable in his expression. He's why I'm careful, Ava said softly. Why I don't trust promises. I understand, he replied. That's why I brought contracts, not words. She looked at him, really looked at him, not as a CEO, not as power, but as someone shaped by kindness he never forgot. What do you want from me? She asked. He shook his head. Nothing. Then he corrected himself. One thing, he said. Run the shop again. The way she did. Fair prices. Honest work. Ava's eyes filled. I can't promise success, she said. He smiled. Not proud, not rich, just grateful. She never did either, he said. She promised effort. Ava looked down at her son. Then at the papers. Then back at the man who had shown up in her kitchen not to take, but to return. Okay, she said finally. Not loud, but strong. He nodded once, respectfully. I'll leave now, he said. Breakfast dishes too. She almost laughed through her tears. As he reached the door, he paused. Thank you, he said, not as a billionaire, but as a boy whose future once depended on a free stitch. The door closed softly. Ava stood there holding her son, the morning light brighter than before. For the first time in years, the future didn't feel heavy. It felt possible.